Race 2 of the Guyane Estoril round for the Superbike World Championship in 2021. Oh, movement before the lights go out. Razgat Lioglu was moving before the lights went out. He's already swallowed up by the pack. He's dropped down to 5th position, and I think Scott Redding might have moved, encouraged by Razgat Lioglu, who I think was just a little bit too eager. And no doubt the race stewards, a panel of 3, are going to have to take a look at that one and come up with a decision. We've got drama before we even move off the line. Redding it is who's managed to hit the front, I think capitalising on that ragged start. Jonathan Ray into 2nd position. Razgat Lioglu's dropped down to 5th, behind Garrett Gerloff and Michael Ruben Rinaldi. And what I wonder now is what kind of penalty might be applied for that starters. Rinaldi bumps Jonathan Ray out of the way, and the 2 Yamahas are going to try and capitalise. Garrett Gerloff comes through. Razgat Lioglu up into 4th position. Ray Ufansi will be released by Razgat Lioglu if he does suffer a penalty. So it's up to Toprak now to force his way through and try and take a solid position here. Jonathan Ray is going backwards in the early laps, just as we saw in race 1. Ray struggling to get the tyre up to temperature perhaps. Eugene Laverty has come through for 5th position. Toprak down the inside of Gerloff. The 2 Yamahas are practically swapping paint here, but it's Ducati 1 and 2.
Yeah, the operating range a little bit different for the X tyre compared to the Zero tyre, so that's why riders are able to attack Jonathan Ray at this stage of the race. But a clear jump start on the grid could well be a long lap penalty, so it's not a massive penalty, but certainly it's enough to really affect the outcome right now for Toprak. Could be 2 long lap penalties.
Yes, if I haven't made a misjudgment there, but it certainly looked to me as though Toprak and to a lesser extent Scott Redding were moving before the lights went out there. Razgat Lioglu looked to have taken a bite at it. We'll wait and see what the stewards have to say. The long lap penalty, of course, a new addition for 2021, is an option to them. Redding versus Rinaldi at the front of the field. It's Scott Redding who looked under pressure at the start of the start-finish straight there at the end of the opening lap, but Rinaldi didn't have the answer into turn number 1. Redding consolidating the lead then. Factory Aruba IT Ducatis running 1 and 2. It's 2 Yamahas in 3rd and 4th positions. Razgat Lioglu and Gerloff. We ride on board with Jonathan Ray, who currently sits in 6th position. Best showing we've seen from Eugene Laverty for quite some time. Laverty up in P5, the top running BMW. Then it's Jonathan Ray. Alex Lowe's with a steady start. He's in 7th position, and Chaz Davies has already made up a place. He's up into 8th.
Yeah, Laverty's looked really solid all the way through this weekend, running up inside the top 5 at the moment, but he's going to be under attack from Jonathan Ray because Ray's tyres are going to come into their range.
Toprak Razgat Lioglu diving down. Oh, Garrett Gerloff has gone, and he's run straight up the back of Michael Ruben Rinaldi and wiped the pair of them out. Gerloff was struggling for grip and traction there into turn number 6. He gets it all crossed up and slams into the back of Michael Ruben Rinaldi, ruining the number 21 Ducati's race.
Yeah, and you could see there for Rinaldi, he's just asking what just happened on the run down in towards turn 6. And for
Jonathan Ray down the inside of Eugene Laverty into turn 9. Jonathan Ray patented that passing place in 2020, and he made it look easy there. The Northern Irishman versus the Irishman, and threw back into the podium positions. What a dramatic lap 2 here in Estoril.
Yeah, real drama. Obviously, last time out in Aragon, Gerloff had a clash with Jonathan Ray at the early stages of race 2. This instant again, though, it looks like it's an early mistake from Gerloff. Wait until we see the replay of it.
No, it was not a good moment there for Garrett Gerloff. Certainly got trapped in the pack there, but Gerloff getting all out of shape and then slamming up the back of Michael Ruben Rinaldi. Alex Lowe's is looking down the inside of Eugene Laverty now for 4th position, having seen his teammate Jonathan Ray escape away and gain a couple of tenths of a second already over Laverty on the number 50 BMW. Toprak Razgat Lioglu with a new fastest lap of the race there on lap 2 has closed right in on Scott Redding, the race leader.
Yeah, just a big moment there on the brakes for Gerloff. His mistake, and unfortunately for Rinaldi, absolutely nowhere to go. You can see just how unsettled he gets there. Tries to really grab the brake, then endos into Rinaldi there, so not really anything Rinaldi can do. It's unfortunate for Michael because he's made a good start. He's running in those decent positions. And unfortunately for Rinaldi, his bad luck at the start of the season continues.
The Italians are gutted. Rinaldi's going to be devastated because it's the best we've seen from him in the early stages, no doubt about that. There will be an investigation for that incident between Rinaldi and Gerloff, and I suspect that the conclusion is a fairly obvious one, that Gerloff was certainly the man at fault, but it was undoubtedly unintentional, and that's why Rinaldi was completely caught by surprise. It was like a rocket going up his backside.
Fairness, doesn't matter if it's unintentional. Whenever you're battling for podium spots in the early races, early laps of a race, you do need to be a little bit more careful. Gerloff, obviously, after what happened in Aragon as well, He's got that bit of a reputation for it, so needs to be a lot more careful.
Confirmation of a double long lap penalty for Toprak Razgatlioglu for a jump start. So I did call it on the line there. It looked as though Toprak had moved away before those lights went out, and the 54 is going to be punished for it. It's a shame from a neutral's perspective because we've got a tasty duel between Redding and Razgatlioglu up at the front of the field, but Toprak is going to drop back from Redding, so his aim here will be to come through into the race lead and try and build a buffer, but Redding's going to make that as tough as possible. Razgatlioglu, remember, will have to serve the first of those 2 long lap penalties within 5 laps of being given the notification.